Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope all is well with y'all. Today we're talking about human trafficking. Without further ado, let's get into it. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to suddenly lose your freedom, to be separated from your loved ones, and thrust into a world of fear and uncertainty? Imagine a horrific reality called human trafficking, an illicit trade of human beings, often for the purposes of forced labor, sexual slavery, or commercial sexual exploitation. Human trafficking is a horrific crime against humanity that affects a bunch of people in the world. Imagine waking up in a different country, not knowing how you got there, unable to escape, and forced into labor or sexual exploitation. The reality for victims of human trafficking is a terrifying world where basic human rights are stripped away. Every day is a battle for survival, filled with fear, pain, and unimaginable hardship. Let's consider Anna, a young woman promised with a better life, only to find herself trapped in a vicious cycle of abuse and manipulation. Or David, a teenager deceived into forced labor, working endless hours under harsh conditions. Their stories echo the chilling experiences of countless others. These individuals suffer not just with physical torture, but also the emotional trauma that leaves deep, invisible scars. They often feel powerless, voiceless, and isolated from the world they once knew. The victims of human trafficking are people just like you and me, whose lives have been irrevocably changed by these criminal acts. Now, picture the despair of a family whose loved one has vanished without a trace. Imagine their agony as they grapple with feelings of helplessness and fear, their minds tormented by unanswered questions. Every waking moment is consumed by the relentless quest for answers as dreams turn into nightmares, an echo that never fades. Not only affects the victims, but also their families and communities. Canada's government and police force have been proactive in their response. They've enacted legislation that increases penalties for traffickers, making it a high-risk, low-reward venture. On the legislative front, laws have been strengthened, making it easier to prosecute traffickers and more difficult for them to operate. Victim support programs have been established, providing necessary resources and aid to those affected by this crime by raising awareness campaigns and improvements in victim identification and fostering international cooperation to tackle this global issue. While significant strides have been made, there is still much work to be done to eradicate human trafficking. But it's not just the government and police who have a role to play in combating human trafficking. The community stands as an integral pillar. It's through awareness campaigns that we can educate each other about this criminal act. By reporting suspicious activities, each individual becomes a symbol of hope for potential victims. And let's not forget the power of support, for it's through supporting victims that we can help rebuild lives shattered by trafficking. Human trafficking is a brutal violation of human rights that affects thousands of people each year. We've journeyed through the traumatic experiences of victims, the heart-wrenching distress of families, the concerted efforts of government and law enforcement, and the critical role of communities. This grave issue demands a collective response, uniting all sectors of society. It's time to stand up, speak out, and put an end to human trafficking. Because every person deserves to live a life of freedom and dignity. Together we can make a difference. Together we can put an end to human trafficking.